Hey guys, what is up? Xamas here, and today we're going to be doing something that a fan requested. We're going to be making a tier list out of probably a great franchise, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. By the way, this video is not scripted, so if you hear like stuttering or anything, yeah, sorry. Anyway, let's get started with the first book. The first Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, easy S tier. This book started it all, and the series probably wouldn't be the same without it. I mean, it delivered a bunch of great jokes that are still hilarious to this day, and yeah, it was just all around a good book. It's a classic, except the book after that I probably like even more. Roderick Rules, bam, ahead of the first, easy S tier again. I just loved all the plots, the party, the invisible charade joke, etc., etc. If you're not a Wimpy Kid fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about. That would also get an even bigger S tier. Now we're moving on to the third. The third one, I'll have to give it a B tier. It's not a bad book. It just doesn't hold up as well as the others. I mean, it's still got great jokes. The ending was decent, and it just doesn't hold up compared to the first two. And now, next one, we got Dog Days. Dog Days, in my opinion, is a tad overrated. C tier. Like, I did like the plot of a full summer vacation, the reading is fun group, his birthday, etc., etc. It just doesn't. I don't know. The jokes just aren't as good as the first three. All around, I still think it's not a bad book, and I still read it every now and then. All right, next one we got the fifth book. This one is a solid, good A tier. Now, the plot of the lock-in, man, that plot was just great. I liked every part of it. Aside from that, well, in my opinion, the lock-in plot is like the main thing that carries this book. The lock-in's the reason this book is just so amazing in the first place. But still, it's got a few good jokes in it. So, sorry if I can't remember much about this book. I still remember loving it as a kid. A tier. Next one, Cabin Fever. Another A tier right there. Now, Cabin Fever. It's an interesting one. Like the Christmas plot, amazing. I haven't read this book in a while. I can't remember much. Although I do remember one thing. Oh, Manny was a full-on psychopath. I don't think it's normal for a 3-year-old to cut off all the electricity, let the rest of the family starve, and when Greg catches him, blubber how no one taught him how to tie his shoelaces. Alright. Other than that, he did a few psychopathic things. A tier, some of them are pretty funny. Now this one is probably my most controversial pick. Now, the 7th book, it's not exactly the most popular among the community. I've seen lots of people give it a low ranking, saying that the gold age of Wimpy Kid was over. But me personally, even though it's not the best book, I have great memories reading it. I mean, I think it was the first one I ever read to my parents. They seemed to super enjoy it. Anyway, it was a long time ago, but I just remember having a good time reading it to them. This one gets an S tier for my personal experience. And hey, speaking of S tier, there's one that tops it. There's another really good masterpiece that tops the current ones. Hard Luck. Bam. Oh my god. I I just like the whole plot of the couple. It was a sequel to another. It was like a sequel to the Third Wheel. I really loved that. There was also a challenge to look for all the Easter eggs hiding in the book. I found quite a few. And I also like the whole 8-ball thing. Overall, that's an S. Now, we got the long haul. This one, it would have to get a B tier. It's a bit mediocre. But basically it's a road trip one, which is a different version of the summer one, which is pretty alright. So I'd have to give that a good old B tier. I don't know. Although I did like the scene where Manny spoke Spanish and stuff like that. And now another great pick. Looking at old school many times. I'm just gonna say it. This was my favorite. This is the best Wimpy Kid book. The whole going old school, cutting off power, the whole plot between Greg and Fru, and then the whole hard Scrabble things. It still gives me a laugh, and it's still fun to read to this day. I also really liked the whole lemonade stand plot, the whole toothpaste cap incident. There's just so many memorable things I can think about this book, even just thinking of it off the spot like I am right now. Except, all good things must come to an end. Double down, solid D tier. I did not really like this book. I mean, it just feels like a lesser good version of the first book. The plot is pretty forgettable. I mean, I think the whole point of the plot was like filming that movie with all the lolly snakes, but that plot didn't happen until the very end of the whole book. Other than that, they just had a bunch of forgettable stuff, like, okay, he went to a Halloween party. So what? So what? It wasn't even that good. Like, sorry to people who like this book, this is just my opinion, but D tier. Next up we got Getaway. This one, I have to give it a B tier. I did like the whole plot of them going to the island for a vacation, getting kicked out, destroying the wall between the kids' sides and the adult sides. There were like a few good plots, but not much in between. So I did think it had a good premise though. B tier. Now this one was also a banger. Meltdown is getting, I'd say, the top of A tier. Apparently, once again, it had a really good plot in the last third, like the epic snowball fight between the hill kids and the non-hill kids. That was just so fun to read. I also did. I did actually think there were a good few plots. Like this was a whole winter book, you know, and I really just liked the idea of that. Anyway, next up we got Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball get a B tier. Now this was, for the most part, a really, really, really good book. But and I did like the whole thing of like the kitchen being renovated, Manny building a full house made of scrap wood. That was pretty awesome. It just had a really unsatisfying ending. Like, come on. They were going to move house. This could have been the start of a new era for the series. But nope. Jeff Kinney just said, screw it. We're just gonna keep on making the series in the same neighborhood with the same sort of stuff. It's a shame. Missed opportunity. He could have expanded the series. Anyway, this one was one that gets a lot of hate in the community, and I really see why. That would be the deep end. D tier. First of all, they copy off the idea of a road trip, like in the 9th book, which was already a B tier. But even worse, Jeff was like, okay, let's make this another road trip book. But we gotta make it different. Oh, I got it. Let's make them rent a camper. Yeah, I think that should be pretty good. Yeah, sorry. The deep end wasn't that good, and it gets a low spot right next to Double Down in D tier. Next one we got is Big Shot. Big Shot's getting an A tier. I mean, once again, it had a pretty good premise with the basketball teams, the game where they were fighting against Slacksville, the whole tournament at the end with all the worst teams in the state, I think. Yeah, I really like the whole idea of that, but the only issue is it's just not as memorable as all of the others. And keep in mind, I'm talking of what I can remember off the spot, and I can't even fully remember it. So yeah. Overall, there were a few good scenes. A tier. I'm sorry if this doesn't explain the books well enough. Like I said, this video is not scripted. Next one, Diaper Overload. Okay, this one to get a B tier. There were a bunch of great plots, but with one major flaw at the end of it. I mean, I did like the idea of Loaded Diaper expanding, becoming super, trying to get famous, meeting up with, going to different concerts, trying and then failing, meeting up with some former band members, and the climax of them all coming together to reform the band again near the end. So, the only plot is, I think this series is supposed to focus on Greg. I mean, I feel like this book would work better if it was like a Roderick Journal spin-off. But overall, I still think it's a great book. I mean, heck, now that I think about it, I think I should replace them in Big Shot. There we go. There we go. That works. That definitely works now. Next one. Anyway, then lastly we got No Brainer. And yes, I know there's a 19th book that's out, but I haven't bought it yet. This one's going C tier. There is just one big nitpick I have with this book. The fact that they called the middle school Larry Mack Middle School. In the movies, it was called Westmore Middle School. Why couldn't you have just kept the name in the movies? Why? I don't know. I can't read Jeff's mind. And there's no chance I'm ever gonna meet him. Yeah. Other than that, I do think that the book could have been better. I mean, I feel like there was a bunch of missed potential for this book with the whole like middle school being destroyed and that sort of stuff. It's a shame. I don't think fudge dogs taste as good in real life as they do in the book. Anyway, that's the original series done. But we're not done yet. Now we got the spin-offs, starting with Roundley Jefferson's Journal, Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. Once again, this one is getting C tier. Look, there is a real... Look, when I was younger, I used to think Rowley and Greg had such a wholesome friendship. And when I read this book for the first time, yeah, it was honestly kind of sad. I mean, come on. Rowley doesn't even notice this, but he's literally writing about him being manipulated by Greg, which, yeah, it's kind of sad to think of. Like, Rowley's a nice guy, but he's so delusional. But, I mean, come on. He should have no longer became friends with Greg, like, years ago. Anyway, then you got Rowley Jefferson's Awesome Friendly Adventure, which I'm gonna put right, one spot above it. Look, the idea of Rowley writing a story is good. I like how they put like a mini story inside of this book, which yeah, that is a pretty fun idea. But once again, Greg's being mean to Rowley, and it's honestly kind of sad. It's a shame if they'd skipped that part out. It would have actually been a great book from Rowley's imagination. Next, we got Riley Jefferson's Spooky Stories. Now, this one's actually getting pretty high. This is definitely the best Diary of a Wimpy Kid spin-off. I mean, the whole premise is just so good. I mean, you got Rowley's imagination, a bunch of spooky stories, but you got no Greg to make fun of him, manipulate him, etc., etc., etc. It's just cool, spooky stories, and I like it. It's simple. Next one we got is the movie diary. I'm gonna put that in C tier. I mean, it's merely just talking about behind the scenes of the actual Wimpy Kid movie. And yes, the first 3 Wimpy Kid movies were great. Yeah, it's mainly just talking about behind the scenes of the movies, the actors, etc., etc. I did read that once. I mean, I thought it was an alright book. I mean, at least they're giving those actors some credit. Next movie diary. Yeah, that's gonna be solid E tier. I mean, heck, I'm thinking we should change that to F tier. F for I don't know. I know. Oh, I got it. A failure of a book. That's what F stands for now. Spread the word. Yeah. Another version of this, but for a really, really bad movie called The Long Haul. No thanks. And the next one is the Do-It-Yourself book. And this one is funny for all the wrong reasons. I mean, heck, maybe I should show you guys my do-it-yourself book. I mean, I might get humiliated, but hey, maybe you guys will enjoy me getting humiliated. Heck, let me know down in the comments if you want me to show you my do-it-yourself book. Last one would be Hot Mess, which I have not read. Yeah, I will give it its own review by the time we read it. Comment down below if you agree with my opinion or anything. Yeah, comment if I should review Hot Mess or read my Do It Myself book. And comment below if you know me as Xamas Cyan or Major Cyan. Anyway, give me more ideas for videos in the comments. For the next half a year, this channel is gonna be about you guys. Anyway, that's it for the video. See you next time. I'm out.